I'm going to start this video by saying I feel like a fucking boss, as I'm sure many of you watching do too. Feel free to go on my X, go in my Discord, go on previous videos. Please see what I was saying. When the times were at the toughest, I didn't shy away. I had my thesis from 6 years of experience in crypto, along with my finance and economic background, and I stayed resolute. To those who listened, you have and will continue to be rewarded. You didn't sell the bottom, and genuinely I'm so fucking proud of you because it really ain't easy. Remember, I said numerous times in March and April, before and after Liberation Day, that the data was pointing to us recovering or seeing green from mid-April to early May, and that's exactly what has panned out, almost scarily accurately. I don't make many bold predictions, but this was one I stuck with, to both people in my personal network and to my community, and I'm very happy it's played out. Does that mean it's over? No. Plenty of work to be done, and things could still go against us for sure, but the credibility and objectivity in times where it has been most difficult should be highlighted, and I hope as someone who is watching my content you can appreciate that. What's up people, I hope you're all doing stupendously well. I didn't mean to come across pretentious or arrogant in the intro, so I do apologise, but sometimes you have to talk your shit in this space. People will flip-flop opinions and claim they're right. They'll be deceptive and lie to their audience, telling them one thing whilst doing the opposite. That could never be me. The proof is in the pudding. We're going to continue with the market update videos as they have been panning out nicely so far. We'll discuss Bitcoin and the fundamentals, take a look at some macroeconomics and what's going on in the world. Then we'll analyze Ethereum and finally close with some top performing alts and what I may be buying soon. As always, whilst I am a financial advisor, none of this is financial advice. Well, in my last video, I mentioned Bitcoin could chop and grind up slowly. I said I thought we might have some sideways action in the 90s region before touching 100k, but Bitcoin decided to tell me to go fuck myself and has propelled to 100k and beyond in a matter of days. This is crazy, guys. I mean, just like I said last week, we shouldn't be surprised. Bitcoin and crypto has proven to us time and time again that when it wants to move, it moves like crazy. Remember, take a look at November 2024. Look at these candles. We should look back and recall what is possible. The amount of money which can be made in this space in a short amount of time is why we're all here. Quick break to ask, why are you not part of the best free community in crypto? Join over 1,000 people determined to make money and help each other out. Sign up to the email newsletter too. It's all free. You've got no excuse. Link down below. So staying consistent as I have since January, February, March, April, and now May. Do I think this cycle is over? No. We continue to hold above the 50-week moving average, which is one of the useful indicators for myself personally. Looking back at the close scare we had in early April where it seemed we may close below the trend line, but we recovered and have flown since. We also survived the inappropriately labelled death cross. Remember, I called a life cross or life kiss weeks ago and said usually when this happens we end up pumping and rallying. And what's happened since the most recent kiss? We have rallied and pumped. I haven't changed these lines, they've stayed on my chart for weeks and it's following quite nicely. So what's next? Well, we're only 4% off all-time highs, which is very weird to think about. Momentum is a crazy thing in crypto. We could break past that in one day. Are we going to see in the next few weeks? Honestly, I don't know. I'm still erring on the side of caution here. I see people suggesting 125k in May or June. I'd like to see it, but again, I can't really say for sure. I'm just enjoying the ride, man. If we drop back down to the 90s, I'll still be content. Cycle still won't be over. Remember, these short-term moves only really apply to traders. I'm more of an investor, so the mid to longer term outlook would remain unchanged for me. Chopping around the 100k mark may be good psychologically for investors, you know, just seeing the 100k figure. We do have some potential upcoming catalysts which could send us to higher targets, which I will discuss in just a second. But am I a permabull? Again, no. I'm just a realist with objective analysis. None of my fundamental metrics combined with my gut were telling me it was over for the past few months. I have been telling you guys this. However, if we lost the 50-week moving average, or if macroeconomics like global liquidity and the dollar were telling me something else, or we dropped below 70k and began to close there, I would very much take a different approach and would let you all know, yeah, I think it's over. But nothing called for it. I didn't get sucked into the fear, and now we're reaping the rewards. On some of my buys in recent weeks, I'm up over 2x already, with plenty of growth on the way. The ETFs have been seeing healthy accumulation. Again, I mentioned this previously, but they actually withstood the pressure and negativity very well. I would have expected a lot more outflows in proportion to the bearish news we were receiving. So for the chart to look like this, It's very impressive. As always, whilst we're pumping, the headlines switch so fast. It seems only yesterday we were getting the guaranteed Bitcoin to 65k shouts, and now, just like clockwork, we're getting Bitcoin to 160k shouts. This tells me the same thing the previous headlines did. It probably ain't gonna happen. But it gets the people excited, right? So why are we even pumping? I think it has to do with investor sentiment being restored due to the prospect of trade deals. Now, cast your mind back to Liberation Day when Trump first announced the tariffs. I mentioned, yes, it looks bad, but I believed it to be a ploy in order to reduce the value of the dollar and to put pressure on the Fed to cut rates. I mentioned it so many times. These countries need the US more than the US needs them. So if they were smart, they would look to negotiate with Trump and America. Then we had the 90-day pause, and now we're seeing trade deals begin to come in. This UK-US trade deal bodes well for other countries, and if I was right in my prediction of Trump trying to 4D chess the Fed, then we're only going to get more positive news over the coming weeks and months. I did say that the only country I believe a deal may not have been on the table for is China. I thought the whole tariff debacle would just turn into a concentrated trade war between the US and China, which wouldn't impact the markets too badly in my opinion. However, we're now seeing news that a potential deal between these two countries is on the cards too. I didn't really see this coming, and it's all speculation, and it's a massive but, if this comes into play, damn guys, the green we'll be seeing across the board. Investor sentiment will react so strongly to the news, and I think we'll see all-time highs across all the asset classes. On top of this, we have potential discussions taking place between Putin and Zelensky for peace between Russia and Ukraine. This would of course bring more hugely positive news, another conflict and war brought to an end, bringing more stability and peace to global economies. Trump also saying it's a great time to buy stocks. I wonder if he's actually trying to help us out here, or screw us like when his son told us to buy Ethereum. This whole pump happened in the midst of disappointing news regarding the Fed. I was hoping for a rate cut in May, given the data we've been seeing and pressure on the Fed from the president, but Powell remained resolute. My suspicions of a power play between him and Trump have been pretty much confirmed. I think Powell just doesn't want to look weak and seen as giving in to Trump's demands, so they decided to keep the rates the same, much to Trump's annoyance. But in June, I think they have to finally take action. Inflation, according to Trueflation, continues to look good at 1.58% and still below the Fed's target, and we still have around 3 to 5 interest rate cuts expected over the next 12 months. There's only so long they can leave it in this contractionary policy before shifting out to a more expansionary style, especially if supported by the data and trade deals. In addition to this, we've got governments around the world cutting their rates. Last week we had the Bank of England cutting, and also China cutting their key interest rate to 1.4%. So yeah, it's only a matter of time before America decides to join in the fun. The dollar continues to hover around the 100 mark. I have been impressed by the way it's fallen into my risk on region and stayed around here. Remember, dollar strength is typically inversely proportional to risk assets like stocks and Bitcoin, which makes sense. If investors are fearful, they want to park their cash in stable, safe assets like fiat currency. If times are looking good, they will exchange their fiat for stocks and crypto. We can see the relationship on this chart here. When the dollar breaks down, Bitcoin decides to rally, and when the dollar rallies, Bitcoin decides to break down. The dollar is currently breaking down and naturally Bitcoin is rallying. I have a feeling, especially with the rate cuts coming hopefully next month, the dollar will continue to break down. What do you think will happen to Bitcoin? It goes without saying, but we should continue the rally. Corroborating this further is global liquidity. You guys know we've been watching this chart for months now, and we had the confirmation of the reversal a while back at the start of this year. This is also likely contributing to Bitcoin's pump. We know there is a perceived lag between the two of about 70 to just over 100 days, subject to variation, and we seem to be entering the zone where Bitcoin grinds up higher and higher. I will be keeping an eye on global liquidity to see when the trend reverses, but for now, it's looking good. Well, moving on to ETH. I hope Ethereum remembers who its most loyal fan was this whole time. I never gave up on this. You guys know I've been speaking saying it's institutional suppression, it's only a matter of time, the data wasn't adding up for the negative prices, etc. And finally, we see signs of life. Now, I ain't getting too excited because it has still been a poor performer all cycle, but these candles here show exactly what's possible in this space. I'm glad I put my money where my mouth was in recent months and I was steadily accumulating ETH. Nice to make some quick profit. But remember those November candles for Bitcoin? It can very easily happen to ETH. This is a smaller asset by market cap, so in theory, it should be easier to move once they let it. It takes a few candles, then we've got momentum behind us, and we're only a 2x-ish off all-time highs, which is kind of mad to say. So is this possible, and is it possible soon? To be honest, I don't think we should get too excited yet. We still have a way to go. It looks as though we'll reclaim the 200-week moving average, but the 50-week moving average could prove difficult. There's a lot of resistance in this region. I wouldn't say we're in a clear bullish reversal just yet. The previous support has now flipped resistance, so we need to clear this level too. Then take a look at larger sites like $3,000. If we cross that bridge in the next few weeks, it'll be looking pretty bullish overall in my opinion. ETH BTC is also pumping. Remember, this is the unofficial indicator for alt season. We need some more massive candles here to show the market Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. Turn your eyes towards altcoins. A nice bounce off the 2019 lows, but just like Ethereum, we've got a long way to go here, people. Hopeful though. The Petra upgrade to ETH can be attributed to its pump. This upgrade brought improvements to Ethereum's scalability and efficiency, which clearly went down well with investors. Perhaps they finally opened their eyes and saw the huge risk-reward ratio for Ethereum when compared to Bitcoin. So I don't know about you guys, but my bags have been pumping in a very juicy manner. I'm going to skip the therapy couch. We don't need it anymore. It did us well in the last few months, but now you should have combated your depression and times are looking good ahead. I want to mention and highlight a few projects which I have been repeating on this channel, especially in the last couple months. So of course, beginning with Tau, just doing Tau things. Everyone knows this is my favorite AI project. It went down below $200 a month ago. I bought some and now look at us. This is before we break all-time highs for Bitcoin and retail floods back in. So imagine what happens then. Remember, it's on Coinbase now too, the most user-friendly crypto exchange in the world. So in all honesty, how this doesn't get to $1,000 and above in the next leg up is beyond me. Anyone as well. This is another project I'm very fond of. I need to make an updated video because these guys have been smashing the developments. I didn't think I'd get another chance to load up on this project at stupid prices. I saw 30 cents, I bought some. I saw 24 cents, I bought some more. I ended up increasing my bag by a considerable amount. And look at the performance. Privacy and depin on ETH up 3x from the lows. And this is all whilst Ethereum is still only around 2,500. What do you think will happen when ETH gets to 4K, 5K, 6K? People will see this for what it is, one of the strongest utility projects out there. Back to $1 soon, I'm sure. Then we can start crossing them off. $2, $3, $5, $10, etc. I can't and won't mention all the coins which have pumped. Those two stood out to me. I also mentioned Casper, Quill, Rio. They have done well too. Most coins will pump off the lows, but it's how strong these have all reacted and how well it bodes for the future. I think the time is coming to start bringing riskier plays to the channel. I didn't do so before because times were uncertain and I didn't want you guys to be losing money. But now, if we're going to go risk on, I know a lot of you watching will be willing to take on that risk, be it small caps, micro caps, new narratives, whatever it may be. I'll get back to extensive research to see what's looking tasty. But yeah, aside from that, I hope you all enjoyed watching. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, join the Discord, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care.